say technology, we mean AI, so artificial intelligence. And okay, I am CTO at Managed Designs. I am professor at Politecnico di Milano, where I mostly talk about machine learning and AI. I am the patch mode Uber fan, but in the context of today's talk, I'm just the son of a deaf person. Okay, so that is, my dad was deaf, and it was deaf because he had all his auditory bones removed, chirurgically removed. So that is anvil, hammer, stirrup, because of an acute otitis. So he basically couldn't hear. Okay, he couldn't hear. And back in the day, we're talking about the late 70s. What you would have spotted on the very top of and inside of a deaf person ear was something like an object similar to the one depicted in this slide. Yet my dad, he could actually hear because of bone conducting glasses. Okay, so they are glasses that make your bone vibrating and kinda allow you to listen, to hear. Okay, and in the eye of a child, that was pure magic. Okay, and it was magic performed by technology. And in hindsight, I think it played a part in having technology inspiring me and becoming, a software developer. Yet my dad couldn't hear everything. What do I mean? I mean that the volume of the sound couldn't be high, so it couldn't attend gigs, okay, or go to a theater, or to go to a cinema to watch a movie, and okay, you could talk to someone else and understand what they were saying, but if I think to myself, not being allowed to go to a gig would make me very sad, because I think that music is what I like the most in life. Okay, and only to have you capable at that, to give you a gist of what I mean for I believe it's a huge part of my life. This is the list of the gig I went to in the last couple of years before pandemic happened, of course, and so that is gigs, and then more gigs, and I could go on. Okay. That the full list is available on Setlist if you're interested in knowing my tastes in music. And I think it won't come as a surprise to you that starting from 2017, along with a few other people in Italy, we started organizing the Accessibility Day, which is a free conference pertaining to everything digital in the context of creating acceptable software or technology-based deliverables, websites or tools and like. Okay, and This year, we had our fourth installment, which had to be delivered online, as we are doing today. But in the previous years, we organized it in Ancona twice, and in Bologna. We tried to go all around the country where we provided some accessible venue. And in 2017, we also organized an hackathon because we were granted by Microsoft the use of their headquarters in Italy. And so we had an hackathon organized. And at the very beginning of that hackathon, a Microsoft representative, if you look at the picture on the top right, okay, the guy who's sleeping in behind the wall, that is me. Okay, I was sleeping because staying awake all day long at my age. But point is, a Microsoft representative shown us a video, and I don't want you to look at all of it, but I think it's important to have you watching at a chunk of it, which is the chunk we'll be displaying right now. Okay, this is actually this video is the promotional video Microsoft produced in order to kind of launch its Seeing AI app, which is a free iOS app. I really recommend you to install, okay? Because it gives an idea of what we can do using artificial intelligence to make the world more accessible to visually impaired people, okay? So I'm starting the video and I'll be skipping a bit.
Truly led me this last year, very close to home for us at Microsoft. I want to see what he dreamt of. Roll the video.
I'm Saqib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that I went to a school for the blind. And that's where I was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do. But artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
Okay. Now, I must confess that when I watched this video, I really got carried away, and I couldn't help but started crying. Okay. And then I started thinking, okay, now what the guy, the developer, said is that a few years ago, that would have been science fiction, but today is not anymore. And I told myself, okay, but they are Microsoft. They have an awful lot of money, as Facebook and Google and Amazon do. But what about us mere mortals? Where is technology today in when it comes to have we mere mortals, normal people, trying to create something similar to what Microsoft created and basically made available for free? Okay. Which is why some time ago, I kind of challenged myself. Okay. And so what I did is I spent a full weekend trying to create my Seeing AI clone, okay, using Microsoft technology. So did it say that today we can take advantage of AI features provided by software development kits? Okay, and I wanted to use the very same library engine they used to create Seeing AI, and try to understand what it takes to do something like that. Okay, so I ended up using .NET Core, which is and C# as a language, which are the open source Microsoft-backed software development toolkit. And then I picked up UWP as a UI toolkit because I needed a UI, and for the sake of my connected ability-ish hackathon, having a Windows user interface was okay, would have been okay. And then I used the Azure Cognitive Services, that is the domain-specific machine learning models made available by Microsoft, okay, which can be used both online, so that is using the cloud, or offline, okay? And for the sake of simplicity, I didn't aim at supporting offline scenarios because please remember, I only had 2 days, a Saturday and a Sunday, okay? And moreover, I had no prior knowledge about the UI toolkit, that is UWP, and cognitive services apart, the language understanding one. But we'll be talking about these models later on, okay? So let me first have a look at the actual. It's an open source app you can download on GitHub. Okay, so that is this one. Okay, so if you're into it, fork it or download it, compile it, run it, do whatever you like with it. And I'm just running the app and have it, I have a few pictures, and we'll have Rossi, the app, trying to understand what's depicted within the photos. Okay, so last year I went to the wedding ceremony of a friend of mine, and this is the first picture we'll ask Rossi to understand on behalf of us. And I could both write my question or trying to ask by voice. So this is the first thing I'll try to do. So listen. What's happening?
A group of people that are standing in the grass.
Okay, so they're standing on a grass field, and this is the full analysis formed by the app. I still haven't decided how to have it describing the whole picture, but it got that we have a woman, a dress that's a wedding. It's pretty confident. For each of these prediction, we are provided by a confidence score, and the more that score is near to 1, the more confident the app is. So it's very confident that we have a group of people standing over a grass field and that there's a wedding dress. Okay, or I could have this other one analyze. I'm sorry, I can't take a picture because the camera is actually used by Zoom, and a single camera cannot be used by multiple applications at the same time. But which is why I'm only using pre-taken pictures. And what I'll be doing is speaking in Italian. C'è qualcuno in giro?
Ci sono 3 persone, più precisamente, una donna che sembra avere 29 anni, un uomo che sembra avere 28 anni, una donna che sembra avere 2 anni.
Okay, and last but not least, if I were to come across Dave Gahan of Depeche Mode fame, okay, let's have some typo. Okay, let's have a typo.
Dave Gahan wearing a suit and tie.
Okay, so that's Dave Gahan wearing a suit. Okay, so it seems it kinda get it. Okay, but let's try to understand how this magic happened, and let's go back to the slides. Okay, what Rossi did under the hood is that given a photo and an utterance, both written or spoken, Rossi will, if the utterance was spoken, it will first try to understand which spoken language was, to then produce a textual representation of the utterance. Otherwise, if the utterance was written, it will try to guess the language used to express an intent. And with the word intent, I mean what the user actually wanted. Okay, because next step would be to take that utterance and have it mapped on an intent. Okay, so we have to understand what the user wanted. Why? Because we then have, and this is something we can do using the language understanding service provided by Asia. Okay, previous steps were performed by the speech service. First step to understand spoken language and have it transformed into text. And second step was performed using the text analytics service, which, by the way, could be used to detect the sentiment as well. So to understand whether the user is happy, sad, angry, neutral, and the like. And then the language understanding service to map the utterance to an intent. That is, did the user want to understand what's happening, or whether there are some people around, and how that group of people is composed in terms of age, gender, and like. Okay, and then so getting the user intent is important, because we will use the intent to optimize the kind of analysis performed by the computer vision service. Okay, which will actually answer, giving us its prediction. Okay, that is an object describing what's inside, what's the picture depicted within the photo, and then we will use that description provided by the computer vision service to create an SSML string, with SSML being a markup-based language used to express how some kind of sound have to be produced by a machine. Okay, let's just Google for SSML to speech synthesis markup language, if I remember correctly, to have a gist about what SSML actually is, because we'll have the speech service use that SSML text in order to produce an audible version of the answer. And that's what Rossi did. And we might have a quick look at how it works. Okay, so that is some code, little code. Okay, not so much, because all we did is, now we had, this is where magic happened, because this is where we only load a picture and nothing important, but here is where the magic happened. So first thing, we have to understand the intent. That is, The utterance is what written within the text box or what was spoken, okay, by the user, and not to try to have you understanding how these services work, because it could require more time than the one we have today. But it's actually all about training these services, that is giving as much, actually firstly defining the list of the user intent, that is people. The user will look for people, or will ask for a full scan to be performed. And for each intent, we will have to provide as many examples as possible. This is the way the language understanding service works, because it will use machine learning to infer all the different ways and even errors, that so wrong ways to express such intent, wrong in terms of grammar. Okay, so it takes a bit in order to train the services. They don't work. Not all of them do work out of the box. They do require a bit of training, but then it's all about giving the utterance to the service and have it analyzing the image. This is the URL of the image. So what I did, since I'm not supporting offline scenarios, I am uploading the image in order for the service to analyze it. Okay, and then I'll be guessing the spoken language and choose in which language the SSML have to be produced, with SSML being something like that. Okay. A markup-based text similar to this. I can choose the voice, the gender, the age, and with these voices being neural, that is, the computer was trained in order to understand what makes a voice, and have it becoming capable at changing it slightly. So point is, there's not much code. It's simple code, and it's all about understanding how these services can be trained and used. But you can just download the code and look at how things were done. Point is, this is me at the very end of my hackathon, me and fellow Whitey, Bianchina, and 48 hours later, of which 22 and a half spent coding, what I had was support for localized utterances, localized answers, a lot of fun. I did not have speak recognition, which required a couple more hours, and I added it after closing a couple of weeks after this. Okay. Now, so this means that producing a scene AI-like software isn't that difficult using pre-built technology. Okay. Providing a satisfying user and effective user experience and a good UI would require a lot of time. But in terms of actually doing the magic, we can really take advantage of pre-built domain machine models. and how much do they cost? Because they're easy to take advantage of, but how much is it? Se custa in my own dialect. Okay, now you might be surprised, but all I've done it using the free tier because when it comes to these services, we have the speech to text service is free up to 5 hours per month, whereas the computer vision is free if we only have a maximum of 20 polls per minute and 5,000 calls per month. Language detection is free. We have 4,000 language detections per month. And when it comes to map and utterance and intent, we have a cap of 5 mappings per second at the very maximum and 10,000 transactions, that is mapping per month. And producing an audible voices, okay, is free as long as we only ask the service to translate 500,000 characters per month. Okay. If should we want more, we should start paying. And if you're not into Asia, yeah, I'm both into Azure and AWS. Just Google for AWS machine learning, and you'll find similar services, that is Poly, Lex, and Black. So that's not an Azure only technology, which makes this kind of technology even more available. And I think this is really important. Okay, so yes, this kind of application aren't science fiction anymore. Yes, the costs are affordable, kinda, okay. And yes, you can have something working, maybe not an MVP, but something working in short time, as I had in 2 days, a weekend. And okay, if you have question, I'll be glad to try to answer. These are my contact information, so please keep in touch. And I really thank you for supporting this event, and I thank the sponsors as well, because they are key in making this event happening. So thank you.